And that's my cat acting crazy in the background, in case you're wondering what that background noise is.
Hey, it's Andy Larson from The Last Comic Shop, and we're here with a quick hits. We're here with Grant Lankard, local Pittsburgh area comic book creator, to talk about his current Kickstarter project, Memoirs of the Morbid, a 60-page throwback to those wonderful horror comic anthologies from the 1950s, featuring 5 brand new self-contained stories sure to give you the chills this Halloween season. Grant, can you tell us a little bit more about this project?
Yeah, so Memoirs of the Morbid, it's a horror anthology, as you said. It's black and white. It's an homage to EC Comics. If you guys don't know what EC Comics are, it's like Tales from the Crypt. Everybody's heard of Tales from the Crypt, of course. This is a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. It's not necessarily a slavish homage, in that I wanted to give the writers a little bit of leeway. You know, I never said anything to them like, you can't do this because it's not, because it's not in style with EC Comics.
So my question, Grant, is the Kickstarter has under a week to go. You guys are cooking for a Halloween deadline. Who do you hope sees this project? What sort of fans are you looking for that you think will really enjoy Memoirs of the Morbid?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think a lot of people will enjoy Memoirs of the Morbid. You don't necessarily have to be a horror fan. I think a lot of the people who are backing it are just backing it because it's something different. You know, so many comic books are superheroes, and this isn't a superhero comic. It's horror. And like I said, the retro feel gives it a very different feel to it. I think you can enjoy it if you're a horror fan, but I think non-horror fans will like it. It's also some of the stories are also kind of funny. So if you're a fan of comedy / horror, you'll probably enjoy this comic book.
Yeah, I love the retro feel of it. It really reminds me of some of the books I've recommended on the show. So I'm definitely going to be backing this one. Those covers, I've just got to gush about the covers, and we'll throw them up as we talk. So I just got to gush about the covers. I love them. I mean, I'm looking at that Kickstarter level where you can get one of the posters. I'll probably have to send it to Andy's house though, because I think you only do US delivery, darn it.
Yeah, I mean, the covers all turned out amazing. Basically, what happened was these guys were all artists who were way out of my league. And they were people that I followed on Twitter. And I just kind of floated the idea of like, hey, how much would it cost if I commissioned a cover off of you? Just assuming, the answer was going to be no. Of course, because I mean, like you were saying, all the guys who've done covers for this anthology are people who've done work for like Dark Horse, Image, DC. And part of the reason why they said yes is I started asking them like 6 months ago. So any freelance artist over the course of like 6 months is probably going to have like a week where they don't have anything to do. So the fact that I was asking them so far in advance was really appealing to them. So I guess that's for any amateur or borderline amateur comic book creators that are listening to this, let that be a lesson. Number one, don't be afraid to ask somebody who's maybe a little bit out of your league. And number two, if you are asking somebody who probably has better comics to be working on, just give them that leeway, because you never know, they might say yes.
Well, very cool. Can you happen to name drop some of those awesome cover artists that are providing again these covers for this terrific project?
Yeah, Simone Gigliani, he's a regular over at Image Comics. He's done a couple different comic books for them, which is pretty awesome. He also worked on a John Carpenter comic book, and I think that's why he threw in like the They Lives poster in the background. I didn't tell him to put that the They Live comic book in the background. I just told him that he would have like a lot of horror movie posters and stuff in the background, and he threw that in there. And I think that was because he worked on a John Carpenter comic book.
That's such an exciting cover with the hand coming out of the book. That's just
Yeah,
great.
I think. I mean, asking me to pick a favorite is kind of like asking me to pick a favorite child, but I don't know. I really like that one.
Well, very cool. As mentioned, this Kickstarter runs through Halloween, correct?
Halloween.
That's absolutely. Right. So only a couple more days left in this Kickstarter. So make sure that you get out. We got a link right here, right below, that you can just go ahead and click on and make sure that you support this awesome project by this awesome local Pittsburgh comic creator. Grant, thank you so much for coming on The Last Comic Shop, and good luck with that Kickstarter, and good luck with all those projects coming up for it. I mean, you're an awesome talent, and we're hoping other great things from you in future.
Throwback sci-fi books next.
A sci-fi book?
Yes.
In the theme of like Flash Gordon.
You know
some
what?
old Wally Wood stories.
What I want to do a sci-fi / horror, because there's not enough of that.
Oh,
I would buy that.
Those old EC comics, I love their sci-fis because they always had that twist at the end. Like they like EC Gaines was always like, you got to put a twist in. Like in the last second, it's like all of a sudden now they've all got vacuum cleaners, and you're just like, okay, I don't know what this means, but awesome. They have vacuum cleaners. We're alive. Okay, that's great. They're taking over the world. It's
That's funny.